At first glance, the Demon Prince of Momochi House may seem like an alternate version of Kamisama Kiss or Fruits Basket, but the stories are very different. This winter 2024 anime was at the top of my watch list this past season, and I loved it so much. The Demon Prince of Momochi House mixes Japanese lore with your typical shojo romance tropes in a different way than you may expect. This was probably a sleeper of winter 2024. I know a lot of people dismissed it due to the animation or just not really knowing a lot about the story, but I really recommend it. And as I read it, I was like, I need to read the manga and find out what happens next. So here we are. I had learned about Demon Prince of Momochi House probably about 2 years ago as one of my best friends started buying the volumes. But once we learned that the anime was coming in about 2 years, we ended up not reading it and just waiting for the anime. This was one of the animes during the winter that I watched week to week for the most part. And then at the end, I let a couple episodes stack up so I could binge it all. As I always do, like I said, I ended up binge reading the manga as soon as I finished the anime, and I decided to do a video comparing the two. Just be warned, this video may have anime spoilers, but it is not going to spoil anything in the manga that does not happen in the anime. The Demon Prince of Momochi House is based on a manga by Aya Shoto. It was serialized in Kadokawa's Shoin's Shoujo magazine, Monthly Azuka, from February 2013 to August 2019. There are 16 volumes total with 67 chapters, and it is published by Viz in the United States. The anime is produced by a relatively newer studio, Drive, who also did the animation for To Your Eternity Season 2. And the anime contains 12 episodes and premiered in the winter of 2024. If I'm judging the anime solely based on the anime itself, there were some feelings that I had before I read the manga. Like I said, The Demon Prince of Momochi House was one of my favorite animes to watch during the 2024 winter season. I thought that each episode was really intriguing, and it left a lot of mystery to where you're wondering, okay, what's going to happen next? What are we going to find out in the next episode? The backstories of the characters to me felt very satisfying in getting to know them and what role they played in the Momochi house. And it felt satisfying, but there were moments in total where the story left a lot of questions and felt like things were missing. Not enough where I was like, okay, I cannot watch this. This isn't watchable. But just enough where I made a note in my head that I was like, okay, I am definitely going to check out the manga and see, what else is there. There were moments that I felt like were resolved very quickly, and then other moments that I was just like, there's so many more questions that I have. The anime was enjoyable and led me to reading the manga because I wanted to know, I wanted to watch everything unfold again, and I wanted to know more. So in this next part, I'm going to answer some common manga questions that people usually have when they're jumping from an anime to the manga. Is the anime a one-to-one adaptation? The answer is no. There are not that many non-canon things added to the anime. They did add the part where Himari meets the teacher. That's actually not how it happens in the manga. But for the most part, it's very canon. But what I will say is that they skipped a lot of chapters in the beginning and skipped important characters and just did not add them to the anime at all. Which I was like, okay, I guess. Not important enough where the story was altered and it's unbearable, but it's kind of just like, hey, it would have been nice to see that character in the anime. There were also some parts in the anime that in the manga go on for a little bit longer and weren't as resolved as quickly. How much of the manga did the anime cover? So the anime covers about 2 volumes 8 or 9. And it's due to some things being cut out, and then they skip a certain arc in order to wrap up the anime where they did, where, you know, that arc ends like in episode 9, and they kind of combine 2 different arcs to make the ending. And then some of the side character stories, those that we see early on in the anime, were detailed later in the manga. Is the anime worth it as a standalone? I still think so, because I think that the anime is enjoyable. It's not gonna top the favorite list. It's not gonna be, you know, romance anime of the year. But if you just want to see cute flirty moments between 2 people who like each other, and, you know, you're not that invested, I think it's still an enjoyable watch, even if you don't pick up the manga afterwards. Feelings about the anime after reading the manga. I wish it was adapted bar for bar. Like, I wish they had adapted the characters that hadn't been adapted. I wish the final arc was what happened. The final arc where the anime left off, I wish it was what had happened in the manga. I understand. You know, I've been watching anime and reading manga for a long time, so I completely understand why things are changed, why things aren't adapted, why things are done the way that they are. But I still wish that that specific part was how it was in the manga. I think it made it a little bit more deep, and I thought that it added a lot of value to the story. But I still enjoyed the anime. I don't think I would rewatch the anime, but I definitely would reread the manga again. Would a season 2 be possible? So yes, there's a lot of the story still left to adapt that I think would translate well into an anime, even if they, you know, brought in some of the characters that they did not animate for the first season. I think, and I understand the way that they ended the anime by mixing a couple of arcs. I think that makes sense, and kind of left the ending of the anime open-ended so that if there was a season 2, they could kind of jump in there. But I definitely think it would be possible. I don't know if the demand, I don't know if it was enough that they would do it, though, you know, what the reception was of this anime. The Demon Prince of Momochi House is not going to be in my favorites list for anime or manga, but I really liked the story. I really enjoyed it, especially loved the manga, and I highly recommend, if you watch the anime, to read the manga and read the manga from the beginning, because some of the things that they cut out are important for later on in the story, and I think it's just so good. The artwork is very beautiful, and it's fun. I really enjoyed reading it. One thing I will say is that the manga is very unpredictable, and I felt like the anime kind of got like a little bit predictable, where you're kind of like, okay, I can kind of guess or think I know what's gonna happen. But the manga, especially the end, was something that I did not see coming, completely unexpected. I didn't even think it was a possibility. So if you want to know how the real story ends, I highly recommend reading the manga. There is also a sequel to the manga that I believe is still ongoing. Unfortunately, it has not been translated or licensed in the US. I do hope that they pick it up, because it makes sense. It would be exciting to see that next part of the story, based on how the manga ended. I'm very interested in the story after the events in the manga. So fingers and toes crossed that they choose to license the sequel in the US. But that is everything that I have with the Demon Prince of Momochi House. If there are any other animes or, you know, anime that you know that I've watched or that I'm interested in, that you would be interested in an anime to manga comparison, please let me know. Leave in the comments below. As you guys know, I love reading manga, and I love doing these comparisons from, you know, a point of view of someone who is understanding of the industry, understanding of animation limitations, and just loves to read and have good fun. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.